Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So today's episode comes to you courtesy of one of my amazing patrons, Eric, who's been supporting this channel as a general tier patron. I truly couldn't do this without support from amazing patrons like Eric. So again, Eric, thank you so much. And actually for today's episode, Eric's gonna handle the intro for me.
Hey Mitch, this is Eric from Manhattan, and for my deck tech, I would like to see you build around something I like to call play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Basically focusing on mechanics that are chance related. Cascade, coin flips, and dice rolls specifically. I'm open to color and commander. Thank you and have a great day.
Well, thank you, Eric, and thank you for this fantastic deck idea. And I've got just the commander for you because I'm going to be building around Garth One-Eye. And yeah, Garth has a little bit of chance potential there as well. Let's go through the card really quick. A 5/5 human wizard for Wooburg, so we get access to all the chance cards. Tap, choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of the card of the chosen name. You cast the copy. Basically, there are 6 different cards that Garth can help you cast, all from Alpha. Now, with those dice rolls that you're going to have as well, you probably just have, a regular D6 dice, and you can just roll that, and that can help determine what you are going to cast out of Garth's abilities, essentially. So, utilizing that ability, casting a random card out of it, let's add some more chaos, some random chance to the game as well with that. Obviously, after you use it the first time, then you might have to, if you roll a 6 again or whatnot, do a different one, but yeah. That is another avenue that this deck can do. So obviously, again, Garth gives you access to all 5. There's some great utility with Garth. And again, yes, some chance in there as well. Now, this deck, along with many of my other budget decks, are incredibly budget friendly. This one, including the commander, every single card is 50 cents or less, giving us an estimated cost according to Mox Build of $16.81. Now, that doesn't include shipping or basic lands, though you might already have those basic lands, or maybe some friend has them for you, or your LGS might have them for you, or you can just buy them in bulk and save, over the long term with all your decks. Regardless, if you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. Now, with all that said, let's jump into the tactics. So let's start things off with tactic number 1, get the party started. Get this party started, we do need to ramp and fix our mana. So we've got Wayfarer's Bauble, of course. First up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble, pay 2 taps, sacrifice, get a base land, and a play tap. Then there's Ramp and Growth, go get a base and play tap for 2 mana. What ramp was named after? Edge of Autumn, basically exact same thing. Only if you've got 4 fewer lands though, so again, early on, a great ramp spell. Later on though, we can cycle it away by sacrificing a land to get something better. Then there's Cultivate, go get 2 basics. 1 goes into our hand, 1 goes into play. Grow from the Ashes, go get 1 into play untapped, or 2 if we kicked it, so that can be a fantastically flexible ramp spell. Then there's Harrow, same at 3 mana. Sacrifice 1 land, go get 2 into play untapped, so you can utilize that mana right away. Roiling Regrowth, which is basically the exact same thing, but those lands come to play tap though. Kodama's Reach, which I probably should have brought up earlier right after Cultivate. Anyways, the exact same thing, but this one's an arcane spell. Again, 2 lands, 1 goes into hand, 1 goes into play tap. Search for Tomorrow, a great potentially turn 1 play. Suspend 2 for a single green mana, which is fantastic. Go get a basic and a play untapped. Then we've got Evasion of Zendikar, a great battle. ETBs, go get 2 lands, 2 basics, into play, tap. So a great ramp spell. On top of that, once you take this down, it flips over to Awaken Skyclave, a 4/4 Vigilance and Haste. It's also a land, and it can tap for 1 mana of any color, so potential ramp for 3. Ramping for 2 there, we got Migration Path, basically explosive vegetation, but we can cycle it away for 2. Vastwood Surge, basically explosive vegetation, but we can kick it to give all of our creatures counters on them. And then finally, Verdant Mastery. 6 mana, we go get 4 lands, 2 go into play tap, 2 go into our hand, 4 basics I should say. If we only pay 4 for it, so again, explosive vegetation price, we go get 4 lands still. 1 goes into play on our opponent's control though, instead. Still, we can make a friend with this if we need to. But now let's move on to tactic number 2, Cascading Rain. And we're going to talk about Cascade. Yes, our first chance, essentially, kind of card. We got Shardless Agent 8/2/2 Human Rogue with Cascade. And it costs 1 green and a blue. And again, as a reminder, Cascade means when you cast a spell, exile cards from the top of your library to exile a non-land card that costs less than this. Then you may cast it paying its mana cost. But the exile cards to the bottom of your library in a random order, essentially. When we cast this 3 mana spell, go get something off the top of your library that costs 2 or less. So we also have Bloodbraid Elf. Cascade at 4 mana, essentially 3-2 with haste. And again, if you cascade from one thing into the next, that's just value on top of random value. Speaking of random value, Throes of Chaos, potentially one of the most chaotic cards of all time. It's a Cascade spell, sorcery for 3 and a red, and also has Retrace, so you can cast it from your graveyard discarding a land, so essentially just keep cascading again and again and again. That is its entire purpose. Batumus Blast at another Cascade spell, force 4 damage to a creature, instant speed Cascade, costing 5. Then we've got another destruction spell, Natural Reclamation, 5 mana, instant Cascade, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Aurora Phoenix. This one, if it is destroyed, can help us again and again and again. A 5/3 flyer with Cascade for 6 mana. On top of that, whenever you cast a spell with Cascade, it goes from your graveyard back to your hand, so you can cascade again. Lovely value. Speaking of that, Ethereum Horn Sorcerer, a 3/6 Minotaur Wizard for 6 mana in total. You can also bounce it back to your hand for 3 mana, and it has Cascade. So again, cast it, get value, Cascade, cool, get it back in your hand, do it again and again and again. Sakashima's Protege can really take advantage of, well, a lot of things. A 3/1 Shapeshifter with Flash and Cascade that costs 6. When it enters the battlefield, it's going to enter as a copy of any permanent into the battlefield this turn. So again, that can be ours that we cascaded into, maybe something else, or one of our opponent's things as well. We can basically clone that as well since it has Flash. And finally, Sweet Gum Recluse, a 0/3 with Flash, Cascade, and Reach, again for 6 mana. Enters the battlefield to get 3 counters on each of any number of target creatures that enter the battlefield this turn, so this and other creatures can get much larger. But now let's move on to tactic number 3, Make It Rain, because we're going to talk about some Cascade support cards. Averna the Chaos Bloom, a 4/2 Elemental Shaman, which says as you cascade, you may put a land card from among the exile cards onto the battlefield tapped. So a great way to ramp us and keep things going. Next up, Dark Apostle. Speaking of keeping things going, a 3/3 that has pay 3 tap. The next non-creature spell you cast this turn has Cascade. So now every single one of our non-creature spells essentially has the potential to help us cascade as well, and we've got plenty of those. Next up, Sloppity Bile Piper, potentially the weirdest name in Magic history. A 3/3 that has pay 2 and tap, sacrifice a creature. The next creature spell you cast this turn has Cascade. So again, the ability to give any of our creatures Cascade, that can be absolutely huge. Then there's Wild Magic Sorcerer, a 4/3 that says the first spell you cast from exile each turn has Cascade. So again, a lot of extra value to be had from this. Abandon the Despoiler, a 5/5 with Trample. During your turn, spells you cast from your hand with mana value X less have Cascade. Rex the total amount of life your opponents have lost this turn. So again, go to combat, get some damage through on your opponents, then all of a sudden, yeah, potentially all the spells in your hand have Cascade, and that can be a ton of value. Speaking of that, Emoti Celebrant of Bounty. 5 mana, has Cascade. On top of that, spells you cast mana value 6 or greater have Cascade. So yeah, we've got some other ones that can essentially hit that mark as well. A lot of extra value to be had. But now let's move on to tactic number 4. Keep it rolling because we're going to be rolling some dice with this deck as well. First up, Bag of Tricks, an artifact for 2 mana, pay 4 in a green tap. You're going to roll a d8. Reveal cards to the top of your library to a creature card with the mana value equal to the result. That card goes on the battlefield. So again, just being able to randomly get a creature off the top of our library, what's not to love about that? Then there's Bucknard's Ever Full Purse, an artifact for 2 mana that has pay 1, tap, roll a d4, and create a number of treasure tokens to yield the result. The player to the right gains control of this. So basically, random roll, and then your opponents can random roll with you as well. Component Pouch, which is basically a mana rock that kind of has a nice chance component to it. Tap, remove a counter from it, add 2 mana of different colors. You can tap to roll a d20 as well. 1 through 9, you get 1 counter on it. 10 through 20, you get 2 counters on it. Then there's Treasure Chest. Artifact for 3 mana. By paying 4 and sacrificing, you roll a d20. This is quite fun. First up, number 1, you lose 3 life. That would be awful. You have a very low chance of getting that, but that'd be awfully fun too. Anyways, 2 through 9 create 5 treasure tokens, so basically get a nice little boost of mana. 10 through 19, you gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. You roll a 20. Search life for a card. If it's an artifact, you get it right on the battlefield. Otherwise, put that card in your hand. Then you also a nice tutor effect there. Wild's Reversal is a really good one as well. Instant, choose target spell or ability with one of our targets. You roll a d20, add the greatest power among creatures you control, which can be quite a bit. 1 through 14, choose new targets. 15 plus, you copy it, and you also choose new targets. So, yeah, have fun with that. Then there's Cone of Cold. Roll a d20. You're either going to tap all creatures your opponent's control, which is very nice. Can get your creatures through. 10 through 19, tap all creatures your opponent's control. They don't untap. And 20, tap them all, and then also, you know, they don't enter. They don't untap. I can't talk. They don't untap, and then also they enter the battlefield tapped in new creatures. Moving on, contact other plane. Roll a d20. You draw 2, or scry 2 and draw 2 cards, or scry 3, draw 3 cards depending on your roll. Wand of Wonder, a crazy cool card. Pay 4, tap, roll a d20. Each opponent exiles off the top of their library to the exile instant sorcery card. They shuffle the rest. You can cast up to X instant sorcery cards basically that way for free. 1 through 9 is 1, 10 through 19 is 2, and if you get a 20, you get all 3. So much value to be had. Centaur of Attention, a very fun one. A 3/3 Centaur Performer for 5 mana in total. Enters the battlefield, you roll 5 6-sided dice and store the results on it. If you have comedy or turn, you can reroll any number of the stored results. Plus X for the greatest number of stored results on it of the same value. So this can be a lot of fun, kind of like a mini game during the game for you. There's Dance Macabre. Each player sacrifices a non-token creature. You roll a d20 at the toughness, essentially. 1 through 14, you get a creature card back. And then 15 plus, you get 2 of those creatures back, essentially, under your control, so that can be huge. Gale's Redirection is a really good one as well. You're going to exile target spell and roll a d20 at spell's mana value. You can cast the exiled card, essentially, and pay for it if you get 1 through 14. 15 plus, you can cast it for free as long as it remains exiled. Wild Endeavor is another interesting one. You get different results, essentially. Roll 2 d4s, choose 1 result. You're going to make that many 3/3 beasts. And then the other one, you get to search your life for that many basic lands. So depending on what you roll, you can get quite a bit of value out of this. And finally, Wizard Spellbook, some repeatable value with this one. Artifact for 7, tap, exile, insert sorcery from a graveyard, roll a d20, activate the sorcery. 1 through 9 is copy the card, cast the copy. 10 through 19, copy the card, cast copy just for paying 1. And then 20 is copy every single card and then cast them for free. So have fun with that. But now let's move on to tactic number 5, Dice, baby. Yeah, a little vanilla ice there. Anyways, Barbarian class. Basically, just by getting this down, if you would roll 1 or more dice, instead you roll that many dice plus 1, ignore the lowest roll. The second one is whenever you're rolling dice, you pump a creature, get menace. And the third one is creature control of haste. So again, getting that extra roll is amazing. And then also, yeah, haste can be very good as well, especially when you're getting creatures out with Cascade, or yeah, just getting Garth into play and be able to activate Garth right away. Moving on, Brazen Dwarf. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, 1 damage each opponent. So that can be quite fun, pinging your opponents down. Pixie Guide, if you roll 1 or more dice instead, roll an extra dice and then or ignore the lowest roll. So again, helping you with higher rolls. While exact same thing essentially, but on top of that, whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you get a counter on While. There you go. Feywild Trickster. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you get a 1/1 dragon with flying, so you can make quite the army quite quickly. Netherese Puzzle Ward. This one helps with rolling dice and also benefits you from doing so. At the beginning of your upkeep, roll a d4, scry X as a result. On top of that, whenever you roll a dice's highest natural result, draw a card. So again, you get the biggest, part of the dice, you get to draw an extra card, which is just lovely. And then finally, Vrondis Rage of the Ancients, a 5/4. Whenever it's dealt damage, you create a 5/4 red and green Dragon Spear creature token with, when this creature deals damage, sacrifice it. So yeah, that can be quite a beefy creature. On top of that, whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you get to deal 1 damage to Vrondis. So there you go. You can just start taking Vrondis down. Well, probably not taking it out completely, but making tokens as you do so. But now let's move on to tactic number 6, Flip Out. We're going to be talking about coin flips. First up, we've got Goblin Archaeologist, a 1/2 Goblin Artificer. Pay red mana, tap, flip a coin. You win that. Cool. Destroy an artifact and untap this so you can do it again. If you lose, unfortunately, you're also losing the Goblin Archaeologist, and that's okay. Goblin Kaboonis, also a way to lose this. A 1/2 Goblin Warrior. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get a colorless artifact token named Landmine on the battlefield. It has pay a single red mana, sacrifice it. It's going to deal 2 damage to target attack creature without flying. Then you flip a coin. If you lose the flip, unfortunately, Goblin Kaboonis goes kaboom. Tavern Scoundrel. This one says whenever you flip a coin, create 2 treasure tokens. Whenever you win a flip, that can actually make you a lot. And by paying 1 and tapping and sacrificing another permanent, flip a coin. Then there's Tavern Swindler. Tap, pay 3 life. Oh no, 3 life. But if you flip a coin, you win. Hey, cool, you gain 6 life. If you lose, you don't get anything. Then there's Mog Assassin. Tap, flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy target creature opponent controls. Otherwise, destroy target creature of that opponent's choice. So, yeah, maybe make a deal with someone, I guess. It'd be pretty hard to make a deal, but yeah, just risk it. You'll win, right? You'll always win. Then there's Molten Birth. Sorcery. You get 2 1/1 elementals. Flip a coin. If you win the flip, this goes back to your hand, so you can do it again. And again, speaking of which, Squeeze Revenge. Choose a number, flip that coin that many times so you lose a flip, whichever comes first. If you win all the flips, draw 2 cards for each flip. So if you're feeling risky, pick a higher number. Draw an absurd amount of cards. If you're not feeling risky, pick a lower number. Just draw a couple. That's okay. Yusri Fortune's Flame. Speaking of fortunate, here we go. 2/3 flyer. When it attacks, choose a number between 1 and 5. Flip that many coins. For each flip you win, draw a card. For each flip you lose, 2 damage to you. If you win 5 flips this way, you may cast spells from your hand that show up paying their mana cost. Have fun. Go for 5. win it. There you go. Then there's Boom Pile. Speaking of winning and losing, I guess. Tap, flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy all non-land permanents. So when you win, everything loses. Then there's Goblin Trap Runner. Whenever it attacks, you flip 3 coins. For each flip you win, you get a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. Win all 3. Get a lot of prizes with that. Then you get a prize when this comes into play as well. Mutalith, Vortex Beast, a 6/6 Trampler. When it enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each opponent you have. For each flip you win, draw a card. For each you lose, well, you still kind of win that. 3 damage to that player. Then there's Risky Move. This one's quite good. If you beginning of each player's upkeep, the player gains control of this. When you gain control of Risky Move from another player, you choose a creature you control and an opponent. You flip a coin. If you lose a flip, they get control of that creature. So this one just goes around to everyone, and everyone gets to join the, enjoy in some way, I guess, the coin flip shenanigans. But now let's move on to tactic number 7, Flipper. We're going to talk about some cards that benefit from or help you benefit with flipping coins. Chance Encounter is a great one, a really spicy way to win, because whenever you win a coin flip, you get a luck counter on this. Beginning of your upkeep, if Chance Encounter has 10 or more luck counters on it, you win the game. So have fun with that. Then there's Goblin Assassin. Speaking of fun, whenever it or another goblin comes into play, including your opponents, it does not say under your control, so Cranko decks beware. Each player flips a coin. Each player whose coin comes up tails sacrifices a creature. And again, you got a decent amount of goblins in this deck, so have fun doing all of that. Now that we've talked about every single non-land card in this deck, let's highlight one great land for this deck, and we've got one that can help us with our dice rolling as well, Underdark Rift. Tap for a colorless or pay 5 tap, exile it, roll a d10, put target artifact, creature, planeswalker into its libraries just beneath the top X card of that library, X the result, active on sorcery. Basically some removal, some kind of chaotic removal for you. You roll a 10, they're not seeing that creature for a long time, perhaps ever again, or I should say artifact, creature, planeswalker. If you roll a 1, unfortunately it's probably going to be coming back pretty quickly. Regardless, again, removal on a land, what's not to love about this with dice rolling? But now as this episode is coming to a close, it's time for me to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know your thoughts are on this deck. Also, if you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.